Yeah, we back. Now, today's video is going to be a follow-up video to one I dropped earlier today entitled, France Reveals 2025 Plan for Africa. Now, in that video, I was reviewing a speech made by Macron this morning where he was talking to the ambassadors of France, basically about his foreign policy. And of course, during the conversation, the topic of Africa came up. Now, we got African governments who are now responding back to Emmanuel Macron on the same day, right? Like Kendrick Lamar and Drake. We responded the same day. Now, let's get into it, man. If you already know, during his little speech, right, Emmanuel Macron said that African governments should be thankful, right? They should be thanking us because we contributed to the fight against terrorism, right? So he said, oh, the African governments, they forgot to say thank you, right? Oh, you should have said thank you to the white man. Now, take a look up on the screen. Interventions against terrorism in Africa. They forgot to say thank you. Emmanuel Macron said, France was right to intervene militarily in Africa against terrorism back in 2013, but African leaders forgot to thank us. And then he went on to say, none of them would have a sovereign country today if the French army had not deployed. My God. Now, if you watched my video earlier, I had already went into it, right? Number one, the reason why there's terrorism in the region dates back to the Western intervention in the overthrow of the administration of Gaddafi in Libya, right? An operation which France had played a central role along other Western governments. It was because of them arming rebels in Libya, destabilizing Libya, that led to the instability throughout the entire region. And it's ironic because the president of Niger dropped a bombshell interview on Christmas where he directly accused France of arming rebels to destabilize and overthrow his administration as well, along with the administrations of Mali and Burkina Faso. So it seems like they never learned, right? We got to thank you for fighting terrorism, right? But you are the one that ignited the terrorism, and you are the one that's still exacerbating the terrorism and encouraging the terrorism in the modern day. But we forgot to say thank you, according to this clown right here. My God, bro. That's why I say, when I say these boys are our enemies, I'm not lying to you. I'm not lying to you. These men are our ardent enemies. Now let's continue. Now, the governments of Senegal and Chad have put out a statement in response to Emmanuel Macron. Take a look up on the screen. Chad said this. Chad accuses France of contemptuous comments. Senegal denies a consultation with Paris on the French military withdrawal. Now, I'm going to play the clip from his speech, and then I'm going to come back with my commentary. Let's go.
There is a part, it was our commitment against terrorism since 2013. We were right. I think they forgot to say thank you. It's not a big deal, it will come with time. None of them would have a sovereign country today if the French army hadn't deployed in this region. None of them would have a sovereign country today if the French army hadn't deployed. None of them would have a sovereign country today. I think they forgot to say thank you. I think they forgot to say thank you.
Now, before we jump into the articles, brothers, you know what I hate the most about our enemies? Their arrogance is so delusional that it's bordering on mental illness, right? Like, for example, like I always say, Emmanuel Macron said that the African governments should be thankful that France contributed to the fight against terrorism. But as we already know, not only were you the source of the terrorism, not only were you the spark that ignited the terrorism, but also under your watch, terrorism spread, terrorism expanded. So when you left, by the time we kicked you out the country back in like 2021, 2022, terrorism had already expanded to never before seen levels, meaning that terrorism was actually worse when you left than when you came. It's like somebody coming to your house to help you fix the house, right? But by the time they leave, the house is actually in a worse state than before they arrived. But they're telling you that you should say thank you. This is the logic. This is borderline delusion. And on top of that, Macron won't even acknowledge the fact that the governments that kicked him out, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger in particular, he won't even acknowledge the fact that they've secured certain military victories that you were unable to obtain. And not only you, but also your allies, right? The US military as well, with their drones and their surveillance and everything like that. With all that high-tech military equipment, the United States, France, and all their allies in the region fighting against terrorism were not able to achieve any meaningful victories. But within 2 years of the Western forces being told to go the fuck back home, the militaries of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, just in the last year alone, ended up achieving some of the biggest military victories in the fight against terrorism in the last 10 years. If you remember earlier in the year, take a look up on the screen. Malian forces kill Islamic State commander, Abu Huzaifa. Terrorist in the region who had a $5 million bounty on his head from the US government, was on the run for 7 years. But neither you or the US government couldn't even find this booty scratcher. But we ended up finding him. Not only did we find him, but we killed him too. Now, I didn't kill him personally. I didn't kill nobody. I'm just saying. I have to say that for the algorithm. I didn't kill anybody. But the honorable military men down in the Sahel, they killed him without any of your assistance. $5 million bounty. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump, whoever's going to be your Secretary of State, let them know that $5 million, yeah, run that bread. Yeah, run that bread, bro. Run that bread. We need that. Run that bread. The fight against terrorism, you guys said you had a $5 million reward. Send my boys that bread. Send my boys their money. They went and risked their lives to kill that booty scratcher. Send my boys their money ASAP. Pronto. Immediately. And of course, we cannot forget the military operation that took place back in early December, where a drone strike ended up killing 8 high-ranking terrorist leaders. And Emmanuel Macron, listen up. Emmanuel Macron, you know what they said in the Western media? They said this was the most successful counterterrorism operation in the region in the last 12 years. That means that was better than any counterterrorism operation you launched in the last 12 years, better than any counterterrorism operation launched by the Americans. Everybody. They said the Malian military conducted the most successful counterterrorism operation in the Sahel in the last 12 years. So listen, bro, like I said in the last video, tone down the arrogance. Tone down the arrogance. You don't have any victories on the scoreboard. You don't have any W's on the scoreboard. You don't have any wins on the scoreboard. Just this past weekend alone, take a look up on the screen. Mali arrests senior Islamic State leader. The Malian army announced on Saturday the arrest of a senior Islamic State leader in the Sahel region following an intelligence operation. I might make a video on that too, right? So just in the last weekend, we still putting up points on the board, bro. Take a look up on the screen. Burkina Faso, at least 30 terrorists eliminated in the last 72 hours in the northwest of the country. Bro, just this past weekend alone, we still putting up victories. You've been in the region over 10 years, no wins, no victories. The only thing you got under your belt is crimes against humanity. Do you remember when you killed all those civilians down at the wedding by accident? Take a look up on the screen. The Mali wedding massacre. This happened back in 2021, like a year before you got kicked out the country. An airstrike carried out by a French aircraft and a Reaper drones killed 22 people, including children. And you talking about the fight against terrorism. You talking about we should have said thank you. Man, I'm telling you, man, only our enemies will literally kill children and then turn around and say you should be thankful for what they did. My God. Anyway, let's get into some of these articles. Let's talk about Senegal and Chad, right? Let's get into it. Chad's foreign affairs minister on Monday accused French President Emmanuel Macron of showing contempt after he said African leaders had forgotten to say thank you to France for helping to combat jihadist insurgencies in the Sahel. My God. The government of the Republic of Chad expresses its deep concern following the remarks made recently by the president of the French Republic, Emmanuel Macron, which reflect a contemptuous attitude towards Africa and Africans. Abdurrahman Koulamala said in a statement read on state television. Koulamala noted that the key role played by Africa and Chad in the liberation of France during the 2 world wars, which France has never truly recognized. Now, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. You're talking about we should say thank you. You should say thank you. But you didn't say thank you when the Germans rode into the capital and then hijacked the territory. You didn't say thank you back then. You didn't say thank you when the black man helped liberate you during the German occupation. Yeah, the Germans rode into the capital and you boys ran. You ran for the hills, right? And all them French women, they got on their knees for the Germans. And let's talk about the French women. Your women have never been loyal to you, bro. In times of war, your women have always betrayed you. Even during the Haitian Revolution, your women dropped on their knees for the Haitians. Yeah, your women was sending love letters to Dessalines and Toussaint Louverture. Yeah, we got records on that. Your women have never been loyal. In times of war, French women were quick to jump ship. That's why back in 1802, before the massive invasion that Napoleon Bonaparte had sent to the colony, one of his major decrees was that all French women who had relations with black men had to be deported back to France, right? Because the French women, they had no loyalty, man. As soon as the balance of power had changed hands, they just got in bed with whoever was in power. Even Napoleon Bonaparte's sister, Pauline Bonaparte, now during her time, she was known as a promiscuous, very scandalous woman, right? So during the Haitian Revolution, she was in the colony. Pauline Bonaparte was in the colony of Saint-Domingue during the Haitian Revolution. And you know what she was doing? She was letting anybody clap cheeks. Well, not anybody, but any powerful black man was just clapping cheeks, right? So when you was in the colony chasing a black man around the colony trying to kill the black man, Pauline Bonaparte, Napoleon Bonaparte's sister, she was going around throwing that ass back, bending it over for the black man. Oh, and also the mulatto man too. One of her famous, relationships was between her and Alexander Pétion, right? Alexander Pétion, the high-ranking mulatto general. Yeah, he smashed that. Yeah, he clapped that. Yeah, Pauline Bonaparte got clapped by Alexander Pétion. So I say all that to say, bro, When the Germans rode into the capital and you ran, right? And when you ran, it was the black men, it was them black soldiers from West Africa and Central Africa that held the line, right? It was them black soldiers from West Africa, Central Africa. That's the reason you're not speaking German right now, if you want to be honest. So watch your mouth, bro. Watch your mouth. Anyway, let's continue. Take a look up on the screen. Senegal denies a consultation with Paris on the French military withdrawal. Now, I'm going to jump into a message that was put out by the Prime Minister of Senegal, Ousmane Sonko, immediately after Emmanuel Macron's speech had went viral. He came out on his social media and he released a statement. So let's get into that. Take a look up on the screen. He said, President Emmanuel Macron said today that the announced departure of French bases would have been negotiated between the African countries that decreed it and France. He goes on to say that it was out of simple convenience and politeness that France gave these African countries the first chance to make the announcement. I want to say that in the case of Senegal, this statement is totally wrong. No discussion or negotiation has taken place to date, and the decision taken by Senegal stems from its sole will as a free, independent, and sovereign country. Macron finally declared that no African country would be sovereign today if France had not deployed. Let us note that France has neither the capacity nor the legitimacy to ensure Africa's security and sovereignty. Oh shit. Shots fired. Shots fired. Let's continue. Nah, time about. Ousmane Sonko said the French military is trash. Nah, stop. Stop. Nah. Why the hell? Why are heads of state going back and forth like it's a diss record? Why the hell are heads of state going back and forth like it's a rap beef? My man Ousmane Sonko said, listen, bro, military is trash. 10 years in the region, no victories. Let's continue. He went on to say, on the contrary, France has often contributed to destabilizing certain African countries, such as Libya, with disastrous consequences noted for the stability and security of the Sahel. This is finally the place to remind President Macron that if African soldiers, sometimes forcibly mobilized, mistreated, and ultimately betrayed, had not deployed during the Second World War to defend France, it would perhaps still be German today. Nah, he killed that. Round of applause. He killed that. He killed that. I'm not gonna lie, he killed that. I also love the fact how he put the photo of the ancestors at the bottom of the post. Man, he killed that. Man, all praises due to the ancestors. Now, let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. This person said, has anyone seen the Ivory Coast statement? I'm still waiting for a reaction from Abidjan. That's the capital of Ivory Coast. Now, isn't that funny, right? So Chad came out, told France, listen, bro, I heard you was talking crazy this morning. Stop talking that dumb shit, right? Senegal came out and made a statement and basically said, listen, bro, without the black man, you'd still be under German occupation right now. And on top of that, your military's garbage. Couldn't even kill the terrorists. But listen, you know who hasn't said a word yet? You know who didn't say a word yet? Alassane Ouattara, the president of Ivory Coast. And guess what? He not going to say a goddamn thing. Alassane Ouattara is not going to say a goddamn thing. He wouldn't dare open his mouth and say, listen, you'll be speaking German right now. Listen, if it wasn't for the black man, you'd still be under occupation. Alassane Ouattara wouldn't dare open his mouth and speak out of turn in such a manner. Everybody knows what time it is with him. They probably got some P. Diddy tapes on Alassane Ouattara. The way that Alassane Ouattara be going to bat for the Western powers, I wouldn't be surprised if they got some P. Diddy type videotapes on Alassane Ouattara as blackmail. I'm so serious. They probably definitely got some blackmail on Alassane Ouattara where they got something hanging over his head, because I don't understand how a man can be such a steadfast, loyal soldier doing the bidding of another man. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Now, on one hand, you could say, well, it was because of the French that allowed him to rise to power. It was because of the French that allowed him to maintain his power for over 10 years. So maybe in his mind, he's thinking like, okay, these guys helped me out. They looked out for me. These guys, put me in power, and they've always, defended me and helped me out. So I'm just returning the favor. So maybe in his mind, it's just an act of integrity. But at the end of the day, we don't owe any integrity to these guys, bruh. We don't owe these guys any integrity. As black men, you are allowed to be slimy and shiesty and double cross them and backstab them as freely as you would like, right? Any type of morality or loyalty should strictly be reserved for us, between us. But when it comes to these outside groups, these hostile groups, you don't owe any loyalty to these men. You can betray these men. You can turn your back on these men. Who gives a goddamn? Who gives a goddamn, bro? We could shake their hand today and just double cross them tomorrow. Who gives a goddamn? Or who cares what they think? These men don't mean nothing to us. But anyways, man, like I said, I thought it was interesting. So Chad and Senegal, they probably been watching the social media. They've been listening to what folks been saying. So they came out and made a statement and said, listen, we not rocking with them boys over there, right? Alassane Ouattara, we waiting on you. Of course, we're not going to hear nothing from him, but Alassane Ouattara, you the only one not saying nothing. Macron embarrassed you. You're not going to say nothing? You're not going to defend your honor? You see, I see Senegal and Chad. They came out, defended their honor and integrity, defended their image. Alassane Ouattara, president of Ivory Coast, where are you? Where's your statement? Where's your response? Everybody putting in their response. We need to hear from Alassane Ouattara. Anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkari the Saleh, back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city, they loving me. Standing alone, I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting and still in reach. They trying to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake, but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I've been gated away. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drive a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word in this bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.